So yesterday, WWE Games posted this on their social media accounts, which is the roadmap for WWE 2K26 news, and they captioned it saying, "Here's what to expect in the coming weeks on the road to early access." 24 hours have now passed and we have a Ringside report regarding the Ringside Pass. Before we get into it, please leave a like on this video, comment your thoughts about the Ringside Pass, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So first things first, just from skim reading this, it is very detailed and it has some frequently asked questions, so I find that very useful and informative, but you have to read it down to the T to see how it's really like. Alright, so let's actually start breaking this down properly. First thing you need to understand, the Ringside Pass is basically replacing how DLC works in WWE 2K26. Instead of buying a pack and instantly getting everything, this is now structured like a seasonal battle pass. Each player gets access to a free track, but there's also a premium track running alongside it. Across both tracks, there are 120 total rewards, and that includes things like virtual currency, my faction content, creator superstar parts, personas, and most importantly, new DLC superstars. Now the big detail here is how you unlock everything. You don't just download it. You earn something called RXP simply by playing matches. That progression works across multiple game modes such as Universe mode, Showcase mode, My GM mode, My Rise, Play Now, and even the Island. So we're already seeing a pretty big shift. This isn't just extra content anymore. It's a progression system tied to how much you can actually play the game. Alright, so let's keep this going, and this is probably one of the biggest questions people have had when they saw the words Battle Pass. Are we going to miss out on content if we don't grind 24/7? And surprisingly, no. Older Ringside passes don't expire, so if you're the type of player that jumps between games, or you just play Universe mode at your own pace, then you're not forced to rush through a season before the next one drops. You can literally pause Season 1, try Season 2, and then come back later, which honestly feels less stressful than most battle passes we've seen. Now let's talk about how you actually level this thing up, because this is where it becomes really relatable depending on how you play WWE 2K. You earn RXP by just playing matches across modes like Universe, My GM, Showcase, Play Now, My Rise, My Faction, and the Island. So if you're someone who books your own shows for hours or someone who jumps into matches after work, technically you're always progressing. Wins give more RXP, but there are challenges to boost your progress, which sounds good on paper, but there is a catch. You need an online connection for your progress to count. And if you're someone who mainly runs private lobbies with friends, yeah, don't give those RXP at all. So that's definitely going to split opinions. Now moving on to the release structure, because this isn't just one DLC drop like we're used to. We're getting 6 Ringside Pass seasons across the year. Season 1 starts March 6th with early access, then another before WrestleMania, and the rest spread out roughly every 7 weeks. And honestly, this changes the vibe of the game a lot. Instead of waiting months for one DLC pack, it's more like the game keeps revolving throughout this year. Kind of like a live service approach. Season 1 alone includes 4 new superstars, 2 personas, 2 arenas, and 2 championships in the premium track. So straight away, it feels like they're trying to keep players checking back in regularly instead of dropping everything at once. Now let's be real for a second and talk about monetization, because I know that's what a lot of people are wondering. Tier skips are a thing, so yeah, you'll be able to pay to move through the pass faster, but they're also saying you can unlock everything by just playing, and the old supercharge is gone completely. Instead of buying an unlock all pack, legends are now part of the free progression path. So depending on how you look at it, this could feel like you're earning more by actually playing. Or it could feel like content is being stretched out to keep you grinding longer. And I think that's where the real conversation starts. Because on one hand, no expiring passes, free legends, DLC at launch, all positives. But on the other hand, always online progression, DLC tied to playtime, and no RXP for custom lobbies. Those are things the community is definitely going to debate. At the end of the day, whether this system is a win or not probably comes down to one thing: how fast RXP actually feels when you're playing normally. If it flows naturally, people will love it. If it feels like a grind, yeah, that's when opinions might change real quick. One thing I don't think that gets talked about enough from this report is how they're presenting the Ringside Pass. They keep saying it gives more options and lets players choose which season to work on, which honestly sounds like they're trying to make the system feel less forced compared to normal battle passes. Another small detail is that the rewards can be claimed as you go while still progressing to the next level. That sounds basic, but it actually means you're constantly unlocking stuff instead of waiting until the end of a pass, which might make progression feel smoother, depending on how fast RXP moves. They also mentioned that some tiers contain bundles, so that could explain how they're reaching 120 total levels without every tier being a massive unlock. So some levels might feel bigger than others depending on what's grouped together. Something else interesting is how they're spreading rewards across different parts of the game. Not just wrestlers, but island content, my faction items, personas, arenas, championships, and moves. That just makes it feel like a roster DLC, more like a full game progression layer, sitting on top of everything. And even the release timing says a lot. Season 1 launching with early access and sale weeks later feels like they want players progressing immediately rather than waiting for post-launch content to keep the game alive. So the more you look at the small details, the more it feels like the system is built around steady progression and keeping players engaged over time, rather than just dropping one big DLC pack and calling it a day. So my overall thoughts on the Ringside Pass right now. It definitely gives me Fortnite-style Battle Pass vibes. The 7-week seasons sound long on paper, but realistically time does go by pretty quickly, especially if you're someone who jumps into the game regularly. I am excited to see how it plays out, but at the same time I'm trying not to overhype it, because the biggest thing I'm hoping for is real replayability. A lot of previous WWE 2K games have had that strong launch window where everyone played it for a couple of weeks and then slowly moved on. So if this is a new system can keep people coming back consistently, then that would be a huge positive. Visually, there are things I really like. Some of the updated models, like Raquel Rodriguez for example, looks great overall, but at the same time, small details such as reused elements from older models stand out, such as the fingernails, and those are the kind of things fans online tend to notice quickly. From a community perspective, stronger quality checking and clearer marketing could really help shape a more positive first impression, because a lot of the conversation around WWE 2K Online is influenced by how early gameplay and coverage is presented. And I say all of that as someone who genuinely loves these games and wants them to succeed. There's a huge group of passionate WWE fans who care about the series, and I think there's a real opportunity to keep building that relationship with creators who give honest, constructive feedback and represent the wider community. Inviting a mix of voices, especially people who are invested long term, could really help show different perspectives on the game while still keeping the excitement high. At the end of the day, I'm always rooting for WWE 2K to improve and grow, because when the games hit that balance between fun, quality and replayability, that's when the whole community wins. Alright, so that wraps up today's video. Let me know what you thought down below, and I'll see you on the next one.